My first memory was in 85. I had a memory of me in my bedroom and I was just dancing to Madonna in 85, and that's the first memory I have of life. It's a great memory, dancing up to the wall like dancing to Madonna and absolutely loving it and having such a good time, and then realising I wanted to be a dancer.
Most mental illnesses we can do fairly well with at the moment, but personality disorders are almost the hidden lepers of society. They are avoided by people, but people aren't quite sure why they're avoiding them. They just know they're difficult people, they're trouble in one form or another. And Daniel was recognised quite early on to be trouble.
And I push, and I go back, and I push, and I push up, I push up, I push up.
I made it through the wilderness, somehow I made it through. Didn't know how lost I was until I found you.
It's March 2007 and I'm in the secure unit at Charing Cross Hospital's mental health wing. I've come to meet the Professor of Psychiatry, Peter Tyrer, who specialises in the unusual field of personality disorders.
I will be dancing from now until I'm dead. It's all I've got to live for. It's my one true talent, and it's all I've got which will get me around this world.
Until recently, people like 29-year-old Daniel Turnbull would usually end up in prison or mental hospitals as a result of their eccentric and unmanageable behaviour. The Professor is pioneering a simple but bold approach to treatment, which, if it's successful, will enable Daniel to live a relatively normal life.
We found out that when you put people with, quote, personality disorder, unquote, into certain environments which minimise the impact of their unusual personalities, they often fit in very well. And when they fit in well, they adjust well and they behave like other members of society. So a lot of our efforts are involved with trying to get people into harmony with their environments. That's their social environments, their physical environments, their personal environments.
Finding the right environment for Daniel is proving more difficult than it sounds.
Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
He's been rejected by all the suitable care homes in his area, and after months of trying, the Professor has found just one in Plymouth, which isn't daunted by Daniel's record of difficult and disruptive behaviour.
Wooden offense. Everything is wood. Wood, 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 wood everywhere. If you hate wood, stay out.
Today, the Professor has agreed to take Daniel to buy a new outfit for his assessment in Plymouth.
Ooh, look at that. I like to use bubbles.
The last time they went shopping together, they were in the same shop for 4 hours.
Daniel,
Yes.
I want you back in here.
Hello, I'm back.
We need to get off to Primark to do your shopping.
Have you got money from my dad?
Yes.
You saw my dad?
Yep. No, your dad left the money here
When?
last night.
He dropped it off. How much did he leave?
£100.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Now I've got a new walk. Let me show you my new walk. This is my new walk. It's my new walk. It's my new walk.
It would be quite inappropriate to attach a single adjective to the type of abnormal personality that Daniel's got. He's a very good example why people criticise psychiatric diagnosis. He doesn't have a clear diagnosis.
Oh wow, I've never been in there. Let me step foot in there. Whoop, step foot in, step foot in, step foot in. I stepped foot in there, step foot in there. I stepped foot in there.
One of the difficulties that people have with Daniel is that he almost has a set of different roles that he can take part in, and one of them is being somewhat childish, one is being pleasant and cooperative and adult, one is being extremely pernickety and stubborn, and another one is being quite aggressive and even threatening. And people don't know where they are with this person.
A cafe! Oh, disgusting! I can't stand cafes. They make me feel ill. The smell, oh, a cafe, oh, Professor, a cafe, yuck, disgusting. Isn't she beautiful? La, la, la. Hi,
How are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm good.
In an effort to speed up the shopping trip, the professor has asked Catherine, one of his student doctors, to join them today. But before they can even make it into the shop, Daniel suddenly wants to raise his concerns about the care home in Plymouth.
What you're intending to do is send me off to an environment in which I won't be happy in, which is what this is coming down to.
Well, we don't know.
You plan to send me off to Plymouth.
We've got to see what Plymouth's like before we decide.
Yeah, absolutely.
You may be very happy in Plymouth. You
I-
don't know. You
well,
haven't been there.
But the thing is, I don't think being sent off to Plymouth is the only place where I can get treatment for a behavioural disorder. You could send me to London.
The only place on the cards at the moment.
Yes, that's because you haven't bothered to find me another place either in London or somewhere else.
Tried very hard.
Well, you've got to continue trying. You've got to continue trying because I am limited to where I can go. I cannot go swanning off to Plymouth to live in Plymouth when I'm from London.
Well, the managers and the ones in London have all said no.
Why have they said no? Why did they say no?
Because some of them have seen you before and others have seen your record.
So we may have to go to Marks and Spencer's for the chinos. I'm not sure.
After 20 minutes, the shopping finally begins.
Hello. Yeah, I'm fine. How are you? The ties. I don't see the colour I want. I want a plain red. Should we buy some underwear as well while I'm here?
A red tie?
No, wrong
No?
colour. It's too
Bright
purpley.
red.
I just want a normal red tie like Tony Blair would wear. The jacket is £19, Professor.
I'd heard that the professor has a reputation as a maverick in his field, and today's shopping trip is proving the point. I'm surprised by the direct way that he and Daniel speak to one another.
That's nice. If I hold it up against the professor's back, if you just turn around, Professor. I'm very boring, conservative when it comes to clothes.
Very rigid, I think.
Thank you. Nice shirts, Professor. What about one of these shirts with these trousers? All I need are the socks and the underwear now.
Well, I think he's a little bit better than he was last time he was here. I think he's more aware of other people, and his behaviour is generally more cooperative. I shouldn't use the word, but it's the only word in my vocabulary. He's less irritating.
As I spend time with Daniel, I'm beginning to see how complex and erratic his character is. What the professor has told me is that it's likely that Daniel was born a perfectly normal baby, but the seeds of the disorder were sown in early childhood. Daniel's early years were certainly bleak. He was abandoned by his real father at birth, and shortly afterwards, his mother slid into addiction.
Do you remember much about your mum?
She was very much into rock and roll,
Right,
and she liked to live a little bit of a rock and roll lifestyle.
right.
And she got addicted to heroin,
Ah,
and she ended up taking a heroin overdose.
I'm sorry.
A heroin overdose. She was addict,
Right.
heroin addict.
And did you know that your mum was using drugs?
I knew she was. I knew she was on drugs. I knew she was taking drugs. I think the whole neighbourhood knew because we'd had trouble with the police
Right.
bursting in and looking through the house for drugs because we were dealers. We were drug dealers. My
Right.
mother was a drug dealer. She wasn't just a heroin addict, she was a drug dealer too. She used to deal drugs. Well, my stepdad was the dealer. She was more like the wife of the dealer.
There's a lot of evidence of inconsistent parenting, of abuse and neglect, and of course, when in fact children are growing up under these circumstances, the normal maturational processes that develop and the checks and balances that allow normal maturation of personality to take place, they don't seem to happen. And there's even been biological changes found in parts of the brain that the maturity that normally occurs with people doesn't happen with people under these circumstances. We're almost certain that Daniel's problems arose in those early years when in fact he must have been a lost boy with nowhere to go.
I wasn't raised to run to mummy every time something went wrong. I was raised in a way where I learnt if something went wrong you had to deal with it yourself, and there was no one there to protect you, so you had to protect yourself. And that's the way I've always been.
I decide to get in contact with the man Daniel calls his dad. Now aged 75, ill health has meant that Dennis Watts can't cope with more than very limited contact with Daniel. But the last 15 years have been steeped in chaos and confusion. And it all hinged on a single act of generosity, one night in 1987.
Good evening, Mr. Watts.
How did you come to meet Daniel in the first place? How did you...
When my son was studying, but doing a bit of charity work, and going up to a no-go estate where even the police didn't go unless they were in pairs. I think he got warned. But you know what teenagers are like, you can't tell them anything. They listen, just don't take any bloody notice. And he met Daniel on the estate, and he'd had a very hard time with his parents. I mean, quite brutal. So Morgan brought him back to my house, and I was out, and Morgan knew where I was dining, so he called me and said, look, I brought this young little lad back. I'm terrified to let him go home.
Daniel ended up staying with Dennis and his family, while the authorities decided what to do with him. But then, 18 months later, news came that his mother had died of an overdose. It was at that point that Dennis made a remarkable decision to adopt him.
So it was quite a commitment for you. I mean, that's a couple of years.
Yes, it was quite a commitment, but yeah. We didn't make the decision lightly or quickly. I discussed it with the children as well. You know.
What did you all feel? Was it a
No, that we could do something with him, you know, give him a better life.
For the next few years, Daniel enjoyed a lifestyle he could only have dreamt of. Expensive holidays, a private education, a generous allowance. But as time wore on, his behaviour started to become disruptive. He was expelled from boarding school, fired from jobs that Dennis had got him, and as he reached his 20s, Dennis was becoming increasingly frustrated.
21 years old, you're not working, you're still living at home, you can't look after yourself, you lose keys to the place twice a week, you have residents in the block, porters, managing agents moaning and groaning that he's ringing the doorbells at all hours, climbing through windows, getting over security gates.
And what did you think it was at the time, Dennis? Did you think it was...
No idea. I just thought it was bloody odd.
It's a week since I last saw Daniel, and in that time he is fixated on the assessment trip to Plymouth. Today, I'm getting a sense of the real reason for his anxieties.
I think you should treat me, Professor. I think you should be careful, Professor. I think you should continue treating me on a one-to-one level and let me stay in London.
Why should I do it?
Because you are the man treating me. You are the man who knows what the problem is, and you are the man who knows how to treat it. So you can treat me, Professor. You treat me. I visit you once or twice or 3 times a week at the hospital, and during that time I either live in a hostel, a bed and breakfast, or some type of shared accommodation. Don't put me off into Plymouth, Professor.
Well,
I'm begging you. I mean, I'm worried about it, Professor. I'm particularly worried about it.
I'm just saying you ought to have an open mind until you've been there.
So, Professor, Daniel's going to Plymouth. Daniel's going to Plymouth.
This is your open mind, remember?
Open mind. An open mind. Yeah, an open mind, okay. One open mind.
It's taken the professor 6 months of phone calls and mountains of paperwork to get today's appointment. And given the lack of alternatives, he has a lot riding on Daniel liking the brand new facility in Plymouth.
Hi Daniel, how are you?
Okay, good to see you. How are you?
Well. Would you like to come in?
Yeah.
If you were to move here, you would have your own room,
Yeah.
key to your own room, and autonomy and freedom to use that space. We're very person-centred,
Okay.
and this is one of the special and almost unique features of this service is we have the flexibility in terms of support. So if you decide you want to go out, there is someone there to support you to go
Yeah.
out. This is the blue room at the moment.
Okay, the blue room.
And remember that this is just a demonstration that they can be decorated
Okay, I love blue.
to your own personal taste.
Okay.
You work
Yeah.
with the staff to do that. So if you want to put posters on the wall, if you want to change the colour, you can do that. If you want to rearrange the furniture.
Now, I'm worried about you, Daniel, because you're saying yes to everything now, and you're being very polite. I want to know if you've got any reservations about, any criticisms or any unhappiness about. I want you to come out with it now,
no.
rather than wait on the train to go
No,
back.
no criticisms.
No, it's just
No reservations.
no reservation at
No,
all.
no.
Are you pleasantly surprised by it?
Yeah.
Any questions to make sure?
No questions.
You're completely overwhelmed by the amazing understanding of the staff here. Mark understands your problems.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're not. You aren't overwhelmed at all. You're being cautious.
To a certain extent. I'm not
Yes.
being cautious.
Aren't you being cautious? I think
No.
you're being polite and cautious. That's my guess. And you've got a lot of reservations and doubts you aren't expressing. Isn't that right?
No.
Yes. Sure you couldn't express them here?
Express.
Your doubts here. The doubts here about. Well, can I put it this way? If there was a place down the road where you could go and get auditioned and possibility of going on a dance course, would that make you feel very much more positive about it?
Yeah. That's.
If you're living out here, please make sure you have all your personal belongings with you. Please don't attempt to open any doors until you've come to a complete stop at the station.
I don't want you to go to Plymouth just because you feel you're under so much pressure to go to Plymouth, even though you know it's not the right place for you and you're trying to sabotage it when you get there, because you will sabotage it if you want to. If you don't like Plymouth and you want to force yourself away from it and force yourself back to Charing Cross, you can do that.
I'll say it's not the right place for me.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Okay.
I say it's not the right place for me. Plymouth's not the right place for me. Plymouth's not the right place for me.
So you won't go to Plymouth at all then? So you didn't say that to Mark when you were there? I just think you really need to be aware that you're not in a very good bargaining position, and all the options are slightly negative.
I want to be in London.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, so basically, if in fact one thing I'm going to tell you is you're going to be discharged.
It's my want.
Yeah, but you're going to be discharged from our care. I hope to tell you, you're going to be discharged from our care if you stay in London. We're going to have to put you in a long stay ward, and then we'll have to discharge you from our care then.
Discharge me from your care
Yes,
and
'cause
put
you've got
me
to
on a
Ealing.
long stay.
Yeah, in Ealing. That's
Section 3.
Not Section 3, no. Well, I'd have to be Section 3, but the point is it would have to be a transfer, and then you'd have to go to Ealing, and some people stay there for 20 years.
Daniel's been in the system long enough to know that life on a long-stay mental health ward would be a disaster. They're often the last port of call for those who don't respond to care in the community. But I can see that moving from London means leaving behind what little stability he has, like his relationship with the professor and his occasional contact with his adoptive father, who stood by him even as his life started to unravel.
So we got him a flat in South Kent now. I've forgotten the address. A nice bed set. And he'd been there, pay the rent, pay the deposit, and he set fire to it. I mean, he really did burn the place out. We had 2 or 3 pairs of trainers, and instead of leaving them to dry normally, put them on the cooker. And I presume went out, I don't know. So he stayed with me for a little while, till we got him another flat. Daniel sold the furniture, prized all the kitchen floors up, then decided to dry his jeans on, again on a cooker, and set fire to that flat. He's not an arsonist, he's just loopy.
At the end of the year 2000, when Daniel's behaviour became increasingly disturbing, Dennis had to make the painful decision to seek psychiatric help for him. Since then, he's watched despairingly as treatment after treatment failed to make any impact. It's only in the last year and a half, since Daniel's been on Professor Tyrer's treatment plan, that he's got some hope back again.
Touch wood, please God, it is even slightly successful. I will be jumping for joy. Anything that's an improvement would be wonderful. Because think of it this way. Let's assume that someone can wave a magic wand and in a year or two, Daniel is reasonably normal. How wonderful it would be for him to go down and see my grandchildren or his nieces. Go and watch my son-in-law get another duck or something. That's not fair, he's quite a good cricketer. But and have a normal family weekend. How wonderful it would be for him. So please God it. But at the moment, out of the question.
It's a week since the trip to Plymouth, and Daniel's still unhappy about the prospect of moving there. Today, he's having a meeting with Alex, one of the key workers on Professor Tyrer's team.
So do you know why I've come to see you today, Daniel?
Yeah.
Why did you think?
Your impact. So you came to see Daniel because you wanted Daniel to go to Plymouth.
Okay. What I wanted to do today, we found another place that might be possible.
Oh, good. Where? In
Because
Plymouth?
you were talking about... No, not in Plymouth.
In London?
In West London.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And they want to come and meet you this
good.
afternoon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is that
good?
goodish news?
That's good. That's good. That's good.
They should be here in about half an hour.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So someone called Mike's going to come.
Oh, Mike. Oh, wow. Oh, good. Thanks.
I'm getting the impression this is the news you were hoping for.
Yeah. It's the news I was hoping for.
Well, let's hope it turns out to be a good thing.
Half an hour later, the management team from the care home arrived to assess whether to take Daniel on or not. I can't help but feel excited for him, now he's been given this chance to remain in West London. But right from the start, it's clear that Daniel's struggling with the weight of the situation.
So, Daniel.
Hello.
So you know why we're here?
Yeah.
To talk about some
Impact said.
Yeah.
Impact said.
Okay.
To talk about shared accommodation.
Yeah. Okay. Because in the past, some things haven't worked out, but what we really want to know is a bit more about you.
Okay.
What you really want to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to Plymouth. Professor said you go to Plymouth or you go to Ealing Hospital. You go to a shared accommodation in Plymouth or you go to Ealing Hospital. So I said yeah to Ealing. I said no to Ealing. And then I said no to Ealing, no to Plymouth, and then I said yes to Plymouth. And then today Impact said, you said Impact said you Impact said
Did they say we were going to come and assess you?
Yeah, they
today?
said you're coming.
Great.
You're coming to assess. Yeah.
What's your instinct? Do you think that'll happen?
I think my instinct is that they probably won't.
Really?
They might, but I feel like they'd probably be concerned about how he'd fit into the existing household.
I have to admit there's a part of me that wants to shake Daniel. There within his grasp was the very opportunity he'd been hoping for, and within the space of a couple of hours, it looks like he's thrown it away.
Daniel, despite what he looks like on the surface, is extraordinarily anxious at times. And when he feels under threat, he tends to go into this very primitive, childish way of behaving. And I think this applies to sort of key moments in his life, like almost when he's being assessed for this placement that he particularly wants. But I think it's because he feels overwhelmed, and this is a sort of standard way of responding, but of course it doesn't come over like that.
I can see now how easy it would be for Daniel to fall through the cracks and end up on a long-term ward or trying to fend for himself, as he did so many times before he met the professor. Last time he was released from hospital, a couple of years ago, he ended up staying with his friend Paul.
7. Hello? Paul, it's Daniel. How are you?
Are you sad, mad and bad, are you?
Well, sad and bad, but not mad.
You're mad.
To a certain
You're
extent.
a lunatic, are you again?
No.
What's wrong with you? Are you a nut?
I'm okay, no.
Come on. Don't think we need to call the police on you today, Danny.
No, one tea.
Nice cup of tea.
Okay.
No, Danny used to be my lodger, Broken. He's a bit of a wayward boy, Danny. A little bit wayward.
Wayward, a little bit wayward.
You can sit there.
Okay.
You had to call the police on Danny and get rid of them.
Yeah, you had to call the police twice
And
on
he attacked
Daniel.
me. He attacked
No,
me.
I didn't attack you.
He
You attacked
me in the
me.
chocolate shop. Threw me against the chocolate machine on Palace Road, didn't you, Daddy? It's quite a powerful fighter, you see. You're quite powerful.
What about when you said, I want you out, I want you out, now, now. I said, no,
Hard
Paul,
not
please.
to like Danny, but you can. You're a bit mad, Danny. You're a bit
To a certain
mad.
extent, yeah, you are too.
How did you meet?
We'll pay some bank.
We met at Charing Cross Hospital.
Yes, yes. So I suppose you want a cigarette, don't you?
No, no cigarettes.
You give them up,
I've
have
given
you?
up.
Well done,
I've given
well
up.
done. Okay, Danny.
Fond as Daniel is of Paul, it's clear the time they spent living together was pretty chaotic. Daniel's mental health deteriorated to such an extent that he was sectioned when the police found him stopping traffic on a busy road. I get the feeling that he's now much more aware of how easily things can go wrong.
I don't want to have to go on in London like this, you know. I want to be able to say, well, fine, you know, when you were 20, in your 20s you did this and this and this and you were good, and I don't want to have to think about this time in the hospital.
You want to get over it and move on?
I want to get over it and get on and, you know, just do what I wanted to do and just do, basically. I don't want to get caught up in... That's just horrible, getting caught up.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Daniel,
Yeah.
I'll sit down.
Where are we?
We're
I don't
interviewing.
know where I am.
We're interviewing Daniel.
I really don't know where I am.
It's been 3 weeks since I last saw Daniel, and in that time events have taken a turn for the better. He was invited for a second meeting with the team from the Hampton care home, and to everyone's relief, he's been accepted.
I want to catch up with you
Oh.
about your visit to
Oh, it was really good. Oh my goodness, it was really good. Oh.
What was good about it?
It's just a really good shared accommodation in southwest London. I like the fact it's southwest London. I like the fact it's where it is. I like the fact it's shared. I like the fact I've got my own room. I like it.
Did you meet any of the other residents?
No, they weren't in.
Did you know what age group they were in?
Between 20 to 21. And I'm going to be 29, so I want respect.
I see. Now, just to make certain everything isn't black and white, were there any reservations at all about this accommodation?
No, none at all.
None at all?
None at all, no. I had resigned myself to the fact, I've said this recently, I had resigned myself to the fact that I was going to Plymouth.
Had you?
Because the professor had said to me, it's either Ealing Hospital or Plymouth. So I said, okay, to Plymouth.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't want to be in Ealing Hospital under a section, not able to go out, which is what he had said to me.
I was being a little harsh with you when I was giving that alternative to you, but I was concerned that the hospital management might move you, and that they can do that nowadays without our agreement. So I was concerned that that might suddenly happen if nothing appeared to be moving. So I'm very pleased that we've now moved on and that you have got this offer of Hampton.
Yes, I'm pleased. I am pleased. Because I wasn't sure about it. I wasn't sure what they were going to do or say.
A few weeks later, Daniel's finally moving to Hampton.
Well, is there any help we can give you, Daniel? We've got the bags here.
I don't want your help.
You're going to do it yourself? You could have done it before then.
Well, I was trying. I just need to put that away and that stuff, and then I'm ready to go. Some things can go. So if you wanted to take some things...
You mean thrown out, you mean?
No, these ones are ready to go.
After about an hour, it's clear that Daniel's not just disorganised, he's stalling. Even though he's talked for weeks about how much he's looking forward to leaving hospital, now he's using every trick in the book to cling to it.
Okay. Okay.
Good, all right, all clear.
Yeah. I just want to go in quickly. Can you just not? I want to go in there.
Right. You want to put that in the bin here? Daniel.
I don't know.
Bin here.
No, I'll keep it.
No, put the bin there.
I don't want to.
Don't put it in there.
Don't tell me what to do.
Faulty. Look, you just touched the floor. Can you wash your hands?
Can you make
please?
Nana go in?
Can you wash your hands, please?
I don't want to. What are you doing? Don't do that. I want that for a reason.
No, I'm afraid you can't keep. I'm not going to allow you to keep a bit of tissue which you.
Well, you shouldn't be doing that to me. How do you know I don't want it? You don't know what it's for, and I might need it for something.
No, you do not need it.
You don't know that.
No, I
if
do
you're
know
not
that.
being evil, there shouldn't be any problems. If I'm sensing evil here, I don't like it.
Daniel, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to get Ruby down there before I lose my temper.
Oh, that is evil, isn't it?
5 seconds.
Evil can do that to you, make you
No,
lose your
it's not a
temper.
question of evil.
This car has been there for too long.
It's just that.
I
we
want my
have
thing.
no
I'm not going
time.
without it. Oh man, I can't believe I'm getting out of here. I don't really want to go, to tell you the truth. If you could have found me a nice little room in Hammersmith, I would have been very happy. But no, not you. I didn't want you to go to Plymouth. I think it's the best place for you. Or you end up in Ealing Hospital.
Well,
so here we go.
I think we've worked very hard to try and find the best place for you, Daniel.
I don't want to go now. I don't want to go. I want to stay away, Hammersmith.
I think you've got to give us marks for effort.
I like Hammersmith a lot. Okay, just put it down there. That's good, thanks. Thank you.
Good. Well, we've got a very nice room here, and we've got the view of the lovely flowers across the other side there with the flags. 2 big wardrobes. Much better than your room in the hospital.
Yeah. Okay, Professor, you'd better go then. You have to get back.
Yes, all right. I wish you all the best then. I'm going to come and
okay, thanks.
visit you here very shortly to make sure that all is going well. And I hope that
thanks.
You will find your home here.
Thank you.
You feel at home here too.
Thank you. I think
all right?
I will, yeah.
Good. Happy little ice cream van outside.
Absolutely, yeah.
Such a
I'm not really into ice
cozy
cream, but
environment. Good. All right. All the best then, Daniel.
I suppose
Bye.
if I want something, I'll just go to Tesco.
When you bring Daniel to an important point in his life, quite a significant point, there's always a slight sense of anticlimax, is that he hasn't quite responded in the way in which you might think he would. And I think it's probably because, in a funny sort of way, he's overwhelmed by it. Really, although he's not articulating, I think he does regard it as a step forward. But at the same time, he's worried because it's throwing extra responsibility onto him. And I think that's going to be the big challenge in the next few months.
Do you any idea what's on the menu?
No, I haven't seen.
Why don't you go and ask Joe?
Okay, I will.
Yeah, go and ask Joe. And you might be able to change it if there's something you don't like.
Yeah, most things I don't like, actually, I must say.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we better go in there and check.
Yeah, I
Or
should.
should we call her in?
I'll go in.
Okay.
Nobody's ever really taught me how to get what I want.
Right.
I mean, I know when you want something, there are so many different ways to get it. It's about which way you're going to get it. That's the thing. And I find a lot of the time I'm always wanting, but I'm just getting it the way I think I should get it, I mean. Which is not necessarily the right way to get it. This is home now. I can't believe it. I never thought I'd end up in a home. Really, at this age. I'm only 29. I mean, who would ever have thought by the age of 29 I would be in a home?
All the ways of slipping backwards, I think almost all of them are being blocked off. So I think he is going to make progress. There'll be ups and downs, there always are going to be with people like Daniel. But I think the trend is on the upslope.
Now, this is a very good thing to go on. I like this a lot. My goodness, because I haven't had one like this ever. Not when it's up like that. With these things, with all this underneath, there's lots to do under here. I can put stuff under there. I can actually get under there if I don't want to be seen. I can get under here and say, fuck off. Fuck off, you don't know where I am. So fuck off.
And you can dance for inspiration. Come on.